Hi everyone, my name is Maisie Fraley and I'm your instructor for this online section of Introduction to Cultural Anthropology for the summer of 2016. So welcome to the summer semester. I hope you all are just as excited as I am to get going. And because it's only a 10-week course, we are going to jump right into course material this week. Okay, so if you go to the content section on D2L, you can see that this week is broken down into two sections, the first of which is an introduction to myself, yourselves, and the class. Essentially the first day of class if we were doing a face-to-face class. The second half is going to be the first chapter of your textbook, so hopefully you all have that. If not, you need to get that ASAP because we're going to jump right into material. So second half of this week, we're going to be focusing on what is anthropology as a field, so chapter 1 of your textbook. Okay, but for this video, it's really short. I just want you to see me, see that I am a real person. I'm not just the name on the computer screen, okay? And so I'm just going to tell you a little bit about myself to get started, all right? Like I said, I am Maisie, and I will be this little floating head in the corner of all of your lectures and videos for this semester. Alright, so I got my undergraduate education. I got a Bachelor of Arts in Sociology and Anthropology from West Virginia University. That's also where I grew up. Very proud of that, and when we talk about accents and dialects, I'll do a little bit of a classic West Virginia dialect for you. Okay, so my degree is a dual degree, like I said, Anthropology and Sociology. We teach a four-field approach, which you'll learn a little bit more about as we go forward, but mostly my undergraduate was in cultural anthropology, the subject of this class. Okay, and then I did learn a lot about sociology as well in those different perspectives. While I was at West Virginia University, I engaged in a primate behavior and conservation field school in Costa Rica, 1 month long. I was in the jungle that whole time with about 25 other students from around the world. And we learned about primate behavior. So we saw capuchin monkeys, howler monkeys, spider monkeys, and squirrel monkeys every single day the entire month we were there. And we learned about how to observe them, how to record their behavior, how to study them, and then about how we can conserve those species as educators and as academics. And this doesn't seem like anthropology, right? We think anthropology is the study of people, but within anthropology, we have an area called physical anthropology, which is one of the 4 subfields, just like cultural is in one of the 4 subfields. Within physical anthropology, there's an area called primatology. So this is where we're studying primates to learn more about humans, okay, because we are descendants of a common ancestor, right? So I did that, and I learned a lot, and I had a great time, but I also learned that that's not what I wanted to do. I didn't want to focus on conservation from an animal perspective. I would want to focus on conservation from a human perspective. So that's where I shifted my focus to, and I did some research, and I presented at a conference on zoos in the United States and how we use zoos as people. Okay, so we shifted the focus to people instead of the animals in the zoo, more about how people are engaging with that resource in that area. Then I came here to CSU, and I'm finishing out my master's immediately. In the next couple weeks we'll be finished up, which is very exciting. And here, obviously, I studied anthropology as well. My degree is a Master of Arts in Cultural Anthropology with an emphasis on humans and the environment. So what I study is how humans interact with their natural environment, and we'll learn that that's kind of a construct anyway. But I studied how people interact with their natural environment and the wildlife within that environment, and then implications for conservation. So my research really focuses on the human side of conservation, how humans perceive wildlife and how that affects our behaviors. Okay, and so a couple good examples come to mind. I don't really want to get into them right now, but there's obviously a lot of poaching. So as an anthropologist, we might study, instead of studying the rhino's behavior and how that relates to humans, study human behavior, how we perceive rhinos, what value we think they might have, and then use that information to construct conservation programs. Okay, and that's a very applied perspective, which we'll also learn about in this class, which will take a very applied approach. Okay, I also volunteered in an organization called Wild Tracks in Belize. This is a primate rehabilitation facility. These are 3 of my babies that I've got to raise. On this side, this is little Innie, here's Vicky, and here's Diego the ocelot. It's another passion of mine, so another view on conservation. So I'm really passionate about getting students involved in these volunteer opportunities, these field schools, to learn more about what they want to do and more about themselves in the process. So if you want any help trying to find some of those, you're interested maybe in something like Wild Tracks, I can try to help you put together a really cool piece for your resume and kind of build these experiences. So it's something I'm really passionate about, so I like to mention it. It gives you a little bit of background about me as well. Then this past summer, I worked as an intern at the Fauna Foundation, which is a chimpanzee sanctuary and retirement home for chimpanzees that were used in laboratory research. So Sue Ellen, pictured here in the front, was used in HIV research. Okay, so she was infected with HIV, an illness that chimpanzees can't even contract, and intends to study that. So this is a home for them now where they can retire and live out their lives as best we can serve them. That's another passion of mine, and something I hope I can use anthropology to study how people perceive chimpanzees, and then use that information to construct conservation programs if I'm working overseas, or education programs if we're working in the United States. So anthropology has a broad application, and you don't think about it a lot. We generally think about anthropology just as the study of humans, and we don't think about the applications of it. So this class, I'm really excited, takes a very applied focus, as you'll notice as you begin looking through your textbook. It's about how can we take the concepts we learn as anthropologists and students of anthropology, and how can we apply them in a variety of different fields to produce something beneficial and something very tangible. So that's kind of the focus of the class as we learn about anthropology. And there's just a little bit about me, just to let you know I'm a real person. I'm here if you need anything. Like the syllabus says, feel free to contact me at any point in time. Just use that email in D2L. Send me a quick note if you have questions, concerns, if you'd like for us to focus on something more heavily in the course, something you're interested in personally that overlaps with anthropology. Let me know that. If there's something you think we might change, might tweak, that would help you better learn or help your classmates learn, I'd love to hear about it. I have a very open door policy. Even though I don't have a real door, we can have an open virtual door policy in this class. So I look forward to getting to know all of you as we work through this semester, and I'm really excited to get started. All right, I'll be seeing you soon.